My name is Dr. Austin Davis. I'm from the great state of Montana. Casey, I need your help. Can you take that box right there and see if you can open it? You got to flip that hat. Can't have a cowboy hat sitting like that. It's bad luck. You got to flip it. You got to fill that bowl with love and potential and giving, loving, serving energy. That's how you see the hat. It's for RJ. Whew, feels good to be here. I love coming here. I often come here for 24 hours, not because I don't care. I get so dipped in the principle in 24 hours that I'm like, I got to get back home. I got to serve. But I'm here with my new associate, Colt. You've probably met him. Give it up for Colt, who went out on a limb and came out to Montana not knowing anybody and unfortunately went to a few other offices and apparently didn't find chiropractic in any of them and was sitting at a bar griping about it, and some fellow at the end of the bar goes, chiropractic? Oh, you just got to go down to Life Chiropractic, and walk through my doors. And to this day, we can't figure out who that guy was. He's never been to our office. We figured out his name, but we can't find him in our roster. So just a guardian angel. It's probably RJ's spirit just guided him right on in. But that's the point, right? We're all on a big journey. We're all on a big journey together. And at some point on that journey, because I don't know what brought you into chiropractic, but many of you is probably to be a doctor, right? To be a doctor, to help people. The problem with that, unfortunately, is it's a pain-based model. Is how most of us are brought up through health and wellness, pain control, symptoms. And there needs to be a subtle shift when you start to understand chiropractic, like a little ember when you're trying to build a fire and you start to breathe on it. And that little spark, that little ember that hopefully turns into a raging bonfire is that moment you realize that chiropractic has nothing to do with pain, nothing to do with symptoms. It's about power. Not forceful power, the power within that we all have. All of us, and it unites all of us in a woven fabric together. And that power often is ignored. We're taught to ignore it. You look at any screen today, it will teach you how to ignore your power. And unfortunately, campers, chiropractors are ignoring that power as well. Not the people in this room, but there are a lot of chiropractors that ignore that power. Came face to face with one of them. Man, the enemies are at the gates. Dude, the war dogs are howling. The Montana's chiropractor of the year last year was the individual who wrote the bill to bring full prescription rights into chiropractic. We're taught to ignore the power that exists within all of us. And what that leads us to is focusing on problems, right? By the way, you feel free to read. I just like having cool stuff behind me, so don't worry about most of this stuff. When we choose to focus on the problems rather than the power, it's easy to make excuses. I'm not in the right market. This isn't good enough. That's not good. Finger pointing. Rather than focusing on potential, the human potential, the innate potential, this thing that we all have that needs to be cleared on a regular basis, checked, detected, corrected, right? Right? Thank you. Let me know you're here. These limitations, though, we create them. We self-sabotage. And if I'm not speaking for you, please find me afterwards and let me know how you have lived an entire life with no self-sabotage. That's amazing. That's amazing. But it's a mindset. It's your mindset. What do you bring to that box that you go to every day? Right? I was a photographer for a long time, worked for magazines, lived all over the world as a photographer. And it dawned on me, old school, real photography with film. You had to open a camera and put film in it. That camera is a box. What you do with that box is your choice. Your office is a box. If you're going to be a chiropractor when you're in that box and then leave that box and do God knows what, that's your choice. Your choice. And we don't focus on this anymore. Sid taught everything matters. Everything matters. Your handshake matters. Your eye contact matters. How you hug someone, how you hold someone, how you talk to someone. Every single thing you do matters. And it feels like society has forgotten that. Because we can scroll past stuff. Cursing is my love language, so this is really hard for me to be up here. We were instructed earlier, please don't do this. And I even said, my barometer for how much I can curse is I go, hey, is Dee Dee Umber here? I just want to say thanks for everything. Oh, he is? Hey, great. Now I know I can't curse. He's sitting right there. But if you go, oh, no, he's not here, I go, great, it's going to get wild. But our society has forgotten that fact. Everything matters because you scroll past anything immediately. Just boop, next. We're so inundated with garbage that we forget that every single thing we do matters. And if you approach life like that, and not down to the OCD level of you end up with paralysis by analysis. You never do anything because you overthink everything. Not that. I'm a fix it in the air kind of guy. Send it, and we'll start to put the pieces together as we're doing it. But you got to do it. You have to do it, and you have to know that everything you're doing has a purpose. Everything you think, say, do, has a direct purpose to your life, which is paramount. It's the most important thing. But that is what opens the door for your capacity to serve your people. So if you're not right, how are you going to get other people right? How? If you're blocked up and interfered with. Think on that. So this is a beautiful thing. It's about activation. It's about activating that little something inside you that allows you to focus on what matters. As chiropractors, what do? We clear interference, right? Right? Yes. Right. We clear interference. DE is the perfect personification of chiropractic. As Peter was talking about earlier, bird dogs. They hunt birds, right? It's what they do. I don't know if you know this. They don't have to learn how to hunt birds. It's in their DNA. You have to activate that ability in that dog to hunt that bird. It's in everything you need is inside. It's if you're willing to activate it. And to activate it, it's not a light switch. It's painstaking preparation, day in and day out. Do your breaths, do your meditation, get your mind right, get your body right. Sharpen all your senses all the time. That's how they hunt. There's no bird dog that gets born going, what the heck is that thing? It's in them. But we got to clear the interference. That's what the training is. You're not teaching them. You're clearing the interference so that dog can do what it's designed to do. You were born a chiropractor. All people are born chiropractors. It's whether or not that interference gets cleared within them to understand that they're a chiropractor. When someone was talking about our numbers are dropping, yeah, it's unfortunate. The schools, a lot of them have been polluted. The social media is polluted. Their conferences are polluted. They're not clearing interference. They're just piling more of it on. And then we're not coming out with people that are fired up with any understanding of what's going on. So thankfully we have great schools and representatives of great schools here, and we can send people to places. It shouldn't be one or two. And I love you. I don't want to send everyone to Sherman, but it shouldn't be one or two schools. We shouldn't be closing chiropractic schools. There's a drugstore on every corner. There could be a chiropractor on every corner. Every corner. I'm in a town of 60,000. We have 85 chiropractors. Everyone's like, well, that's a dumb move. Are you kidding me? What you're telling me is that it's a chirocentric town. People love chiropractic. We need more of them. Move to Montana. We'll set you up with an office. We'll build you an office. Teach you everything. I'll give you everything. Was that our second? That's our second. We got one more. I love this one. So now you got to ask yourself, what's next, right? When we leave here, I want you to think about not what you're going to do to get something with what you wrote here in your little books. Who are you going to be when you leave here? Who are you going to be? That is what's going to make the difference in your practice, in your life, your relationships, and yourself, and your relationship with your source. Who are you going to be? Focus on that. I'm going to just pivot here for a second. People have been doing a lot of testimonials, and I normally don't do those. I have one that I do for a patient, Jerry, who many of you have heard that story. I'm going to do a different kind of testimonial today. I'm going to share something with you because we were tasked with what have we done since the last DE. I'm going to play you a little video thing here. I hope it all goes well, but we had a patient. Her name's Lucy. Lucy gave birth and was essentially crippled for 5 days. Couldn't hardly function after giving birth. This is where it gets, here's the twist, everybody. There was a vet that was going to put her down. Lucy is a cow. I'm going to show you a little video here. But I got a call from a patient saying, Doc, you got to get down here. I need help. I said, tell me what's going on. Lucy gave birth, and they're thinking about putting her down. And at the time, I didn't know she was talking about a cow. And I was like, that's some hardcore Montana shit right there. I'm like, how far out of town is Lucy? And they said, there's a vet here who wants to manually expire the cow. Now, Lucy is one of the big raw milk producers for the Bitterroot Valley where we live in. She's like a 1,300 pound milk cow. She gave birth, and it was a very difficult birth. And the thought was distorted the pelvic ball, paraspinals, or backstrap for those of you who are hunters, shifted her atlas. So I called the world famous Dr. Jay Kamarick. I said, Jay, we got to save this cow. And he's like, great, we have these courses, and you can come down to Colorado. And I go, no, I'm on the road, homie. Like, I'm heading there now. And he's like, okay, get me on FaceTime. Let's do this. And Montana, I'm not giving away anything illegal. Montana is a gray area. If you have a chiro license, you can adjust animals without any certifications or anything like that. So this is above board. So he put me on FaceTime, and he said, look, I don't care how strong you think you are. You're not moving a cow the way you want to move a cow. That cow will move when you resonate with that cow, when you match its heartbeat, when you emanate an energy of healing, and that cow bonds with you, and you talk to this cow psychically that we are one entity. And I said, rock and roll, this is what I'm all about. Let's do this. So I hope this plays. Bear with me here. That's Lucy. This was her after giving birth. That's her baby, Georgie. So we're pulling the tractor up to get her, and this is what happened. This is what happens when life is choked off. Bam! Look at her now. Yes! Yes! That's Lucy and Georgie now. That cow, both cows are still alive. She's still producing milk. To give you a sense, Rando, can you run that back? It's a short one, I know. Well, so this actually leads into the next point. Yeah, it was tough to watch, man. When you see an animal that can't, bam! That's my son in the back, shirtless. Yeah, cow popped up. That was 5 seconds after I adjusted. We pulled that tractor back around with those hip hookers to get her up, and I had the lead rope and just popped up. Full milk letdown when a cow that's been down for that long that builds, and full letdown. Walked across the meadow and ate and fed. That little cow was malnourished because she was only getting 2 teats because the cow was laying in a ditch for 5 days. And they did PEMF, injections, muscle stim, they did everything. The power in that cow was choked off. That was subluxated. I don't care what you are, size-wise, bipedal, quadrupedal. If the mouth of God is shut off, the voice diminishes to nothing. She had the intention to walk. There was no communication. They rubbed her and creamed her up and injected her. They did everything you can do to a piece of meat. And it was just, bam, cleared. And that cow got up like nothing had ever happened and walked away. We can clap for that. It's the purest expression. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. Just like we were talking about those bird dogs. This is why chiropractic is the most beautiful thing in the world. You just got to clear that interference. So now actually I'm part of the ACES program down in Dallas. I'm getting my full certs. We're building out a whole division of equine and farm animal adjusting because there's actually very few in Montana. So thankfully, Colt's with me now. He's going to take over a lot of human adjusting. And I'm going to get to drive my truck around the beautiful state of Montana and just light animals up all day. In fact, what we're planning on doing within the next 3 years, we're going to build a facility. I got a patient who's a farrier, does horseshoeing, and another buddy who's an equine dentist. And what we're going to do for these luxury ranches and high-dollar operations is build a big warehouse where they pull in one side. They load all their animals up, pull them in one side. We got 10 stalls, hitch them up. They get chiropractic, new shoes, dental work, some nutrition. They get the whole wellness suite, load them back up, out the other side. We're just going to run it. Yeah. For our hoofed friends. Our hoofed friends. Yeah, all this while we're still building a practice, opening 2 other locations, and starting a state association. And someone asked me why I spread myself so thin. I said, it's all chiropractic. What? It's not thin. If I was learning how to hit a flop shot in golf or something, and also learn how to do play the harp or something, yeah, that's spreading myself thin. This is all chiropractic. It's the greatest thing in the world. That being said, it is all about chiropractic. And we have to be able to draw a line in the sand now. Because as I mentioned, the landscape is changing. With that cow video, by the way, if you guys want to see the longer version, and this is important, and I know Jenna's here, and I'm going to say this, and don't yell at me. Social media is important. It's also can be a distraction. And I only say that because that video I posted on my office page, not my personal office page. You can go see it, Missoula Chiro on Instagram. Right now it's sitting at 2 million views. No, yeah, woo, woo. I got no new patients from it. Don't clap for that. It's 2 million views. 300 days of runtime. It's a 6-second video. I mean, I would consider that to be fairly viral or whatever, right? No new patients, no knocks on my door, no invitations anywhere. So yes, put the education out there. Use social media for education, because the 5 guys in Bangladesh that liked my last video aren't coming into my office. One of them thought I was hot. Great. Rajpur in Bangladesh is like, fire, 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 winky emoji. I'm like, dude, no. No, we're not doing this. So listen, use social media for education. If you think that going viral is going to get you on every state, it hasn't happened for me. It may happen for you. Use the platform to educate. We need education out there. The fact that when I was fighting all this legislative crap in Montana and I got to explain chiropractic to the Montana Medical Association for the first time ever, they go, why have we never heard of this? Why has nobody ever told us anything like this? I said it's my fault. It's my fault. It's 2026, and we can reach every corner of the world because it's, the world's flat. So every corner of the world, seeing who's paying attention. Get the education out there. Give them interesting, fact-based, heartfelt truth. Give them the truth of what we do. It's a great tool for that. The funny, dancing ones and all that, you have too much time if you're doing that. See more people. See more people. Find a way to do that. Because if you're building out a funny reel or whatever, the universe is going, well, that guy's not ready. He's like working on some backstreet moves. So we need to draw a line in the sand now. Not tomorrow, not in a week, not in a month. I said it earlier, the enemies are at the gates. And this isn't a fear-based talk. This is reality. There are people who have no concept of chiropractic because they came through very broken programs. And they think they're right. That's the dangerous part. When I talk to the upstanding individuals that wrote those bills, I say, hey, man, let's at least talk. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you just don't know what you're doing. And we can show you a different way. And they go, no, we know what we're doing. This is what we want. We want full prescriptive rights in chiropractic. Because what happens if you see a patient on a Friday and they have a headache? How are they supposed to make it to Monday? It's like open Saturday and Sunday hours, you dumbass. Sorry. I'm going to get a few letters after this talk. Dee Dee sends me letters going, this is very inappropriate. We're open 7 days a week now. How many offices are open 7 days a week? Yes. Open 7 days a week. Figure out how to do it. Saturdays built my entire first 2 practices. Help me with the third one. Colt's got Sunday hours now. Be available. Open your doors. What is your capacity for service? Someone asked me this. What would you get out of this talk? They go, what does service mean? What does it mean to serve? Everyone talks about just give, love, serve. Serve. What is your capacity for service? When I was in the Bay, I used to come home with blood coming through my socks because we'd be there from 7 to 7:30, which really meant 5:45 to 9:30, 6 days a week. And I would wear wingtips because I'm a doctor and I got to look professional. And I would bleed through my shoes. My hands would cramp up. I didn't see my son 4 days a week for the first year of his life because I left home before he was awake and I got home and he was asleep. That was a tough one for me, I'll be honest with you. To sacrifice that was tough. I made some changes around there. The family balance was off. I will tell you that. But that's the point. You got to understand your capacity of service. You have to understand it. Because if you're going full tilt freight train like I did for 13 years, I mean, I'm still doing it now, but full tilt freight train 6 days a week, not seeing your own kid, it tests you run any machine 6 days a week, 14 hours a day, you're going to test every component of that machine. So you have to understand your capacity to serve. You have to understand your carry capacity. You're going to hear people up here going, I saw 800 a week, 1,000 a week, 1,500 a week. Great for them. If your carry capacity is 200 and you think you're a failure, get that out of your mind. You are seeing people. You are clearing the most important structure in the universe. For one person is incredibly important. You were blessed with 200 of them or 200 visits or however you quantify it. Growing up here, as Judson mentioned, I got to 500-600 a week, and I was like, well, I'm a failure. Everyone around me is at 800. What if I'm at 5? I should probably just become a golf caddy and just enjoy the smell of fresh cut grass every day. I'm not doing anything important. And I realized I was all off. My calibration was off. I was at 500 because my report of findings took 15 minutes. And I was talking between patients. I was doing all kinds of other stuff. So I cut out the fluff, fine-tuned it, cranked the numbers up. Right? So you have to understand realistically where you're at and what you're capable of. The other big important process, and I've seen a lot, is we have to stop negotiating with ourselves. We have to stop negotiating with ourselves that we're willing to do less, take less, think less, be less. Because what's going to happen is your patients are going to settle for less. Are you okay with that? Yeah? Someone said yeah over there. Thought so. Or would you be okay with your patients settling for less? Leaving your office, going to some bone thumper? No idea of the power that made the body heals the body. No idea of innate potential. Just rack them and crack them. Right? What does it say? Cracking necks and cashing checks. You never heard that? It's a good one. But you got to stop negotiating with yourself. I'm going to tell you right now. I try not to speak in blanket statements. You don't need more time. You don't need more time. You don't need more information. You don't need more of anything. You need to decide today, in this moment, that everything you have within you is what you need. And by clearing the interference to what you already have is your new goal, is the most important thing in the world. I have a mantra that and I love the mantras at DE, give, love, serve, the money chant. I'm a big mantra guy. Some people who know me, my brain is a million miles an hour all the time, and I have to keep it active. Lead, speak, serve. Lead, speak, serve. Lead, speak, serve. Be the leader in your community. Be the health leader. Be the spiritual leader. Be the emotional. Be the leader in your community. Everything should run through you. We just had our own health conference in Montana because we built the MCC, the Montana Chiropractic Council, which I'm the president of. And do not clap. I built the council. I made myself president. You don't have to clap. Nope. There was no big election. Nope. There was no big election. It wasn't challenging. I just built it, and now I'm the president. Yeah. So we threw a big health conference. We did a philosophy night, and we did a big CE event, right? And we brought up, on our philosophy night, a medical doctor. What? But what it says here, we had an MD on stage with us. We had senators on stage with us. And I got hate mail, phone calls, emails. How dare you? I'm traveling across from my house to not even the farthest reaches of Montana to visit offices, like an 11-and-a-half-hour drive. We have a big state. They go, I'm driving 14 hours to come listen to an MD. I paid for this. I want my money back. It's absolutely not. You get your butt here, you sit down, and you listen. Because this thing we love, the principle, can be viewed through many different lenses. The principle doesn't change. Do you understand? The principle does not change. The lens changes. We want to talk principle. Guess what? Those senators that we had up on stage that everyone's like, I don't want to come some political thing, with a stroke of the pen could fundamentally change our profession. Won't change how we practice in this room because we're hardcore, but it will fundamentally change our profession and the principle that goes with it. They could codify it into law. That MD, guess what? Gave a better chiropractic talk than the chiropractor down the street from me would have given. Crushed it. The reason we had him is he provided essential testimony in the Senate to support chiropractic staying chiropractic. Because I was able to talk to the MMA board and say, this is what we are, this is what we do, you've been misled, here's the truth. And he got up there and said, they need to stay exactly the way they are, and we're going to support them in that. Right? And the importance of that is when something hits his desk, he can go, I'm going to call Dr. Davis, see what he thinks about this. And when these senators have some garbage bill that hits their desk, they go, I'm going to call Dr. Davis, see what he thinks about this. And we're building these bridges and building bigger tables, not higher walls, right? We want everybody at the table. Because it's not us against them. That is lack mentality. That's old school dogmatic stuff, and I know we got the poster and all that. That's old school, man. It's a new era. It's a new day. I don't know if you know this or not. We've been chipping at those MD walls for a long time. Our spoons are getting a little dull. We're like Shawshanks trying to get through the wall. Make friends with the guards. Not that we're in prison. You get what I'm saying. Make friends with the people in positions of power so we can have a unified front, that they ask us for help. And that's what's happening, at least in Montana. If you want a blueprint on that, hit me up afterwards. I will walk you through the entire process. It is so simple. It's just agonizing. I don't wish politics on anybody. That's the beauty of this, though, is that you have to decide right now who you are. Because you depend on this decision. You personally, your practice, your people, your relationships, that if you're going to let the mouth of God get shut off and stay off, you're going to get the same crappy results every time. Going, I don't get it. I'm trying to build volume. People don't stick around. Then you start finger pointing. Because really, you have the potential within you already to be a force in people's life unlike any other. Unlike they even know how to do for themselves. Because we have this beautiful thing, this adjustive capacity to clear this and to guide them. A patient said something beautifully the other day. Her mother recently passed, and I said, do you want to take a moment together? We'll just kind of meditate for her. And she goes, listen, at the end of the day, we're all just walking each other home. That's how she put it. And it was the most beautiful thing in the world. And you realize that our time is very fleeting. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. I wake up every morning and the first words out of my mouth are thank you. because it's not guaranteed that I start my day that way. And if we really all just walking each other home, why waste a second of doubt, of indecision, complication? Decide that you are clear, you are connected, and you will be the force of life for everyone in your life and around you. Love you and appreciate you. That's all I got. Peace.